Magandang hapon, magandang araw. Blessed Sunday sa ating lahat. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers sa mundo. Kumusta kayo po? Ito po si Nico Fabian. Nandito na naman po sa programa natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. And today it's a Sunday and we are celebrating itong Father's Day po. So, I hope all the fathers are enjoying today and they will continue their good work as the head of the family, looking after ang pamilya nila po, no? Importante 'yan po, no? In every family there must always be the head of the family, and that is the father. Ang deputy niya po ay ang nanay natin, which ang mga nanay which we celebrated Mother's Day last month. May, second week of May yata yun. Second Sunday of May. That was Mother's Day. And today we are celebrating Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to each and every one. Lahat ang mga tatay po. Lahat mga tatay. Medyo late tayo ngayon na ang programa natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. Dahil I also celebrated the Father's Day early in the morning po. No? Early in the morning and early afternoon po. No? Early afternoon because tatay din tayo, may asawa tayo, may mga anak tayo, and of course, they dedicated this day para sa akin o para sa mga tatay po. That's why medyo late tayo ngayon sa programa natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. But anyway, again, I would like to welcome each and every one of you po, lahat mga Filipinos dito sa Malaysia, ang mga Malaysian friends natin. Welcome kayo dito po sa programa natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. And let me not forget to also welcome and greet all overseas Filipino workers sa iba-ibang parte ng mundo. Wherever you are, you are always welcome to my program, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. And also, I will not entertain the idea of forgetting ang mga kababayan, kapatid at kaibigan natin dyan mismo sa bayan natin, of which we call the Philippines, our beloved Philippines. So welcome kayo dito sa programa natin, and we have some things to discuss, although it is ang mga issues natin is a little bit mild dahil today is Sunday and we are celebrating the Father's Day po, no? Father's Day. So let us resume ang mga hot issue dyan po sa Pilipinas, maybe by tomorrow, because expected naman po by tomorrow, expected that it will be another exciting, expensive. Dahil expensive, why? Because still the prices of commodities, cost of living in the Philippines remain high po. That includes ang langis natin, ang fuel, ang gasolina natin po, no? Although we can see there are some developments in the Middle East conflict, but should there be a positive peace deal, long-term solution dyan po sa Middle East conflict, but the effect will not come that fast. It will take a few months po, and I'm looking at the effect of this peace deal po, will only be felt by us, maybe totally, at the start of the first quarter of next year. Dahan-dahan yun po. Not like when we had this problem, abrupt ang problema po. But the solution and the effect of the solution will definitely come in slowly po. Slow motion. So let's prolong our patience. Anyway, okay, let's move on with our program. This time around, I want to touch. I'm not happy with, I'm sorry to tell you this, no? And I believe even my fellow countrymen, kababayan, kapatid at kaibigan dito po sa Malaysia, whom we are sacrificing, doing everything, a lot of sacrifices po, all for the love of our country, the Philippines, or for the love of our loved ones that we left behind in the Philippines temporarily po. That's why we are working hard. We are remitting regularly pera dyan po sa Pilipinas Para at least it will also help the economy of the Philippines. And at the same time, hoping that our money po, will be used by the government properly in terms of providing good, satisfactory public facilities po. Especially Philippines, we are facing a lot of problems, especially itong mga natural calamities like earthquake, typhoons, flash flood, and so forth and so on. And we already experienced that we are aware what happened to the flood control projects natin sa Pilipinas, and it's a very big scandal of corruption in the Philippines. And many of us are not happy. That's why we are calling the government, no matter what you're doing now, no matter which camp you belong, mga tao po, let us stand firmly and call our government under the leadership of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos to make sure that this flood control project investigation or probe will continue, because we Filipinos, we want to know who are the people really involved in this scandal. We want to know, and we want to see that these people who participated in this biggest scandal in the history of the Philippines will be put behind bars. And we want that whatever losses we experience, taxpayers' money po, will be recovered. But when we talk about people involved, put them behind bars po, we are talking about big fish. We are not talking about small fishes lang po. We want genuine, real, big fish, no matter what kind of position they are holding ngayon po dyan sa gobyerno natin. Be it the president, be it the vice president, be it the senators, be it the congressmen, be it the governors, be it assemblymen, be it the mayors, be it councilors, city councilors, municipal councilors, or even down hanggang sa barangay level. For as long you are corrupt and there is enough evidence beyond the reasonable doubt that you committed corrupt practices, then you should be punished. You should be punished. Yan po ang sigaw ng mga Filipino. Because of this, what is happening ngayon dyan po sa Pilipinas, remember, the trust and confidence to the government na po, nag-dive na talaga po. Nag-dive na talaga. Karamihan ng mga Filipinos do not trust anymore the present government. Look at the situation, the latest survey, the latest survey on the satisfaction trust rating of our government officials, particularly ang presidente. The latest survey result, it shows that President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos registered negative 13 trust rating po. What is happening to the Philippines po? For others, maybe they are happy to say that it's negative 13, but they forget po the effect, the domino effect of this negative 13 po. Tayo po, mga Filipino, we are suffering. We are suffering in all aspect. In all aspect. That includes even education and our health aspect of the Filipinos. Now, let me share you a video clip here about what happened, what happened sa Pilipinas just recently. Somebody died, a member of PhilHealth died. Why he died? Because of money problem. He has been contributing regularly for 25 years to the PhilHealth, paying his PhilHealth fees for 25 years. When he needed the money, there was no financial assistance given to him because of the PhilHealth policy. Something is wrong in the PhilHealth policy. And he died. We can never get back his life. Problema talaga yun po. Kawawa talaga ang asawa itong namatay po. So let me share with you a video clip, a statement made by a very known commentator. Sabi natin, well-respected blogger din po, well-educated and well-respected lawyer, and I'm referring to no other than, again, si Attorney Regal Oliva po. Let's watch and listen po. Masakit, ah? I feel very sad and sorry to what happened to this patient po who passed away just recently. Let's watch and listen to it. Watch carefully and listen and absorb every word si Attorney Regal Oliva is saying. Because this is not a chismis. This is not a marites. This is the real facts po. What is happening sa Pilipinas. Nandito po. Let's watch and listen to this po. I'm not happy with what is happening dyan sa PhilHealth. Nandito po. Let's watch and listen to this. Hold on.
My heart breaks for Maria Lourdes Sulit. Imagine this. Your husband suffers a brain hematoma. You are told that the operation may cost as much as 4 million pesos. Then another option is presented. Transfer him to another hospital and the cost may go down. Kumapit ka sa pag-asa. Pero bago pa man matuloy ang transfer, hihingan kayo ng 1 million peso deposit. 1 million pesos. Hindi bukas, hindi sa susunod na linggo. Ngayon na. For ordinary Filipino families, hindi yan simpleng deposit. That is an impossible amount to produce in a matter of hours. Habang lumalaban ng mga doktor para iligtas si Marvin, ang pamilya naman niya ang lumalaban sa oras at sa pera. At sa pagkakataong ito, pera ang nanalo. Marvin died. But the story does not end there. Isang byuda, bagong-bago pa ang kanyang pagdadalamhati. Pumunta sa billing section, wala pang isang araw sa ospital, halos 200,000 na agad ang bill. So she turned to PhilHealth. After all, her husband had faithfully paid contributions for more than 25 years. At doon niya narinig ang mga salitang ayaw marinig ng sino mang nawalan ng mahal sa buhay. Not qualified. Hindi dahil hindi membro, hindi dahil hindi naghulog, hindi dahil hindi legitimate ang pagka-confine, but because he died too soon. Because he was confined for less than 24 hours. As a lawyer, I understand that institutions follow rules. Pero may mga pagkakataon na kailangan tanungin natin kung ang patakaran ba ay nagsisilbi pa sa tao o ang tao na ang nagsisilbi sa patakaran. The purpose of PhilHealth is financial risk protection. Kung ang isang miyembro ay nagbayad ng mahigit 2 dekada na ospital, nagkaroon ng life-threatening condition, nagkaroon ng malaking hospital bill, at namatay habang nasa pangangalaga ng ospital, pero walang benepisyong makukuha dahil sa technicality, then something is clearly wrong. The issue is not Marvin. The issue is that there may be thousands of other Filipinos who could fall into the exact same gap. Kaya hindi sapat na tulungan ang isang pamilya pagkatapos mag-viral ang kanilang kwento. The reform must be institutional. PhilHealth must create a catastrophic emergency benefit for patients who are admitted, treated, and die within the 24-hour period of a medical emergency. Because illness does not follow office hours. Death does not wait for a 24-hour requirement. And no Filipino family should ever lose a husband at midnight only to be told by sunrise that after 25 years of contributions, he was still not qualified. Another day. Another Regal. POV.
Alright, thank you very much, Attorney Regal Oliva. No? Yan po nangyari sa kay late Marvin. May his soul rest in peace po. He has been paying. He paid his PhilHealth fee regularly for 25 years. And when the time he needed help financially, because he got a problem, a life-threatening sickness po, then he was not qualified. Not qualified, it doesn't mean that not qualified as a PhilHealth member. Because hindi daw siya po qualified dahil na-confine sa kanya po and namatay siya po before the prescribed period of 24 hours. Dapat daw po he will get these benefits po kung na-hospitalized na siya po for 24 hours and above. Ganon ba yun sa Pilipinas? Ganon ba yun sa Pilipinas? Death will not wait the policy of PhilHealth. He will not wait kung naabot ka na kung naabot ng pasyente 24 oras and then death will come. It will not happen po. Nobody knows when death will come. Kaya nga mga tao po, we go to the hospital to seek help. And we pay monthly, especially mga overseas Filipino workers. We are paying our PhilHealth fees, no? Lahat, mga overseas Filipino workers. And also, ang mga, sabihin natin, mga Filipinos dyan po, na trabaho sa Pilipinas po, no? It is a violation against the law if you don't pay ang PhilHealth fees natin dyan po sa Pilipinas. And a portion of this PhilHealth funds is to also help those na hindi kaya magbayad ng PhilHealth po, fees. In case may problema ang mga unfortunate or very poor Filipinos po, na hospitalize sila po, then nandyan po ang pera. Diyan po ang pera. Saan na yung policy na yan po, ang mga senators, ang mga congressmen, they are talking about, wala na po yon na deposit policy sa mga hospitals, sa government officials, government hospitals po. Lahat lang yan po for me. The way how I look at it, I'm sorry to say this thing, based on the reports that we heard, no? Hindi yun totoo po. Anybody sa atin ngayon, mga relatives natin, kung nagpunta sa hospital po, the first thing they will ask is, ganito po, kailangan. You have to pay a deposit before medical attention will be given to you. Kung wala ka po deposit po, they will ask for any collateral. Collateral po. And last week, nakita natin si Senator Risa Antiveros and si Senator Pia Cayetano, mainit ang discussion nila tungkol itong issue sa PhilHealth, itong issue sa mga hospital, both government and private hospitals po. Hindi natapos po, and they are going to continue by next week po. And I'm going to monitor po what is happening between itong bill na propose si Senator Risa Antiveros and nag-question din po, no? Nag-interpolate din po si Senator Pia Cayetano, no? Si Pia Cayetano. But the bottom line there is po, this is really what is happening ngayon sa Pilipinas. You just imagine, do you remember that ang gobyerno ng presidente natin, si President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, they transferred 60 billion yata yun na pesos dyan po sa treasury ng gobyerno po. And that was unconstitutional according to Supreme Court po. And they were asked to return it. What happened po? They said they are going to return and they will get the money from the National Budget 2026. Ibig sabihin, ang pera mismo natin nagnakaw, tayo pa ngayon magbayad. Tayo, when I say tayo po, tayo mga taxpayers. Tayo mga contributors ng PhilHealth po. tayo who is paying regularly ang PhilHealth fees natin. Yet, what do we get? What do we get? No? This is, I don't know what is happening po. Outrageous po what is happening. Ha? Grabe ang Pilipinas po. But anyway, this is not the end. My hope po, I hope ang mga legislators natin, mga lawmakers natin will open their mind and will really do something to really protect and to protect the welfare and interest of every Filipinos in all matters, be it sa education, be it sa health, be it sa security, be it sa food, no? Lahat aspeto po, kailangan na kailangan yun po. I feel very sad, especially bringing the issue sa inyo po, lahat mga followers ko po, in this a very special day that we are celebrating ang Father's Day celebration. Father's Day celebration po. So, okay, that's it. And let's move on sa ano natin po, sa programa natin dito po sa Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. Mayroon din tayo po because we are talking about the impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte. Next week po, continuation na naman ang pre-trial conference. No? It will be continued Monday and Tuesday. Hopefully, it will end by Tuesday. And of course, ang flood control project investigation. No? Ano nangyari po sa 18 brave Marines or ex-Marine soldiers? No? What happened to itong impeachment ni Inday Sara Duterte? Are we going to follow the two-third requirement to convict Inday Sara Duterte? In other words, 16 votes or hindi? Sino po ang presiding officer during the impeachment trial of Inday Sara Duterte? These are the issues po that medyo mainit ngayon sa Pilipinas. So let me share with you a video clip po kay si Attorney J.B. Hilno. He is the Deputy Secretary General of PDP Laban. PDP Laban. And he's talking about itong sabihin natin ano nangyari. Ngayon, si Senator Chis Escudero already joined the majority grupo ni Senate President Gatchalian, and si Senator Joel Villanueva also did the same thing. Ano nangyari yon ngayon ang mga earlier announcement by the Ombudsman na on the final stage na daw sila po to file cases, plunder cases against these senators. No? Hindi lang ang dalawang senator, but other individuals po, politicians. So let's watch and listen. Let's watch and listen to this statement made by Attorney J.B. Hilno, the PDP Laban Deputy Secretary General. Let's watch and listen to this po. Hold on. Okay?
Sana, kung makikita sana natin na patas.
Hold on. Hold on po. Nandito po. And let's watch and listen to Attorney J.V. Hinlo. Hinlo. And nandito.
Sana, kung makikita sana natin na patas yung let's say, yung implementation ng batas at yung pagpapakita na walang kinikilingan ang ating mga authorities, investigative authorities, bakit sa ngayon wala pang findings, no? Tungkol sa investigasyon laban kay Senator Chis Escudero at sa investigasyon laban kay Senator Joel Villanueva. At ano naman ang nangyari sa mga ibang
ibang mga senador na nadamay ang pangalan sa investigasyon, not only on flood control but in cases of corruption. What happened to the accusations against them? Umusad ba? Bakit yung nakikita lang natin yung parang naiipit ay yung mga kaalyado ni Senator Cayetano na sa tingin ng iba ay presume to be sympathetic kay VP Sara. That's the presumption. That's why sinasabi natin na kung patas ang batas, dapat lahat, no? We have to face the law equally kahit kakampi natin.
Alright, yan po, narinig natin si Attorney JB, ang Deputy Secretary General ng PDP Laban. PDP Laban, he is asking what happened kay ang kaso ni Senator Chis Escudero, ang kaso ni Senator Joel Villanueva. And he also mentioned that bakit kung ang tao, kalyado or supporter ni Inday Sara Duterte, o Vice President Inday Sara Duterte, no? Madali ang case build-up sa kanila. But ngayon, doon sa kabilang grupo, according to Alan Peter Cayetano, ang Malacanang senators, no? Walang problema po. Walang problema. So, sa palagay ninyo po, is this fair? Is this fair? Kailangan po pantay-pantay ang gobyerno. No? Pantay-pantay. Kung may kasalanan, dapat imbestigahan. No? Hindi lang selective judgment po. Selective judgment lang ninyo or nila they're doing. So anyway, mayroon pa isang video clip kay Tony JB wherein he is also commenting on the Brave 18 ex-Marine soldiers po. Let's watch and listen to this also. Importante din ito po dahil ang mga tao po really want to know. Ngayon, nagsalita na ang mga sundalo, ex-soldiers, that they really played a very crucial role, important role in deliveries of suitcases full of money or mga maleta po to politicians. And ang mga tao, mga Filipino po, we want to know what is next. What is next po? Alright, so nandito po. Let's watch and listen to Attorney J.V. Hilno. And ito po ang statement ni Attorney. Let's watch and listen to this.
Sa kanilang mga bangayan, attorney, mukhang hindi pa rin nakaka-get over itong Gatchalian na bug dito po sa naging mga investigasyong ginawa sa panahon ng liderato ni Cayetano.
Dahil na ibunyag ang mga bagong ebidensya doon sa isang araw na Blue Ribbon Committee hearing at doon naman sa pangalawang araw kung saan nagkaroon ng press conference, yung mga mabigat na paratang ay dapat imbestigahan ng ombudsman. At kung ako yung kasama ng 18 na sundalo at yung mga tumutulong sa kanila, dapat po bigyan ng tulong si Attorney Baligot at mag-concentrate sila na kumuha ng malalaki at magagaling na mga abogado para magtulungan at i-prepare ang mga akusasyon ng every soldier, no? Akusasyon at the same time yung kanilang depensa kasi naging kawawa nga sila, expected at uulamin sila ng mga libel cases. Most especially yung kanilang public testimony outside the Senate building. So, yan ang price na kanilang haharapin sa pagsasabi ng kanilang versyon ng katotohanan.
Opo, kakasuhan daw ng usurpation of authority.
Alright, yan po, narinig natin si Attorney J.B. Hilno, and he's asking, proposing to Senator Pia Cayetano and all the supporters of this 18 na ex-Marine soldiers plus 4, no? Kailangan po they will be given legal support po, no? Mga lawyers po, yung mga mabigat na lawyers to defend them po, especially now that they will be, most likely, they will be facing a lot of court cases, cyber libel cases po, no? To be filed against them by itong mga senators, congressmen, which they mentioned that they delivered itong mga suitcases full of money. And for your information, mga kababayan, kapatid at kaibigan who is watching itong programa natin po, for your information, marami na po. We heard, and it was officially announced by the authorities really concerned about the welfare and interest of the soldiers, na they receive public donations po to help finance ang mga expenses, ang daily expenses ng mga sundalo po and sa mga pamilya nila po. So tuloy-tuloy ang contributions coming from the public. Alright, this time around, let's go sa impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte. Mayroon ako dito isang video clip, no? Coming from, sino ito? Coming from a political analyst dyan po sa Pilipinas. Very respectable political analyst ito po. And I'm referring to no other than Mr. Lito Banayo. No? Lito Banayo. And let's watch and listen itong statement he made. He made po just recently. Let's watch and listen to this. Sana yan po. Hold on, ha? Okay, nandito. Let's watch and listen to this. Hold on. Let's listen and kayo na bahala po. No? Kayo na bahala to make your opinion or anuman. Assessment ninyo po tungkol ang statement ni Lito ano pa yan? Banayo. Lito Banayo po. Let's watch and listen to this po. Hold on. Alright. Nandito. Okay. Dapin na po. Okay, let's watch and listen to this. Importante din ito po for you to have a picture of what is really happening ngayon sa Pilipinas. Let's watch and listen to this.
Makakaregalo sa Pangulo yung SONA, itong impeachment, yung guilty verdict. Ang tingin mo dun, sir?
Unang-una, July 6 ang umpisa, July 27 ang SONA, hindi kakayanin na magkaroon ng desisyon by then. Tingin ko nito, aabot pa ito September. Baka hanggang Oktubre, wala pang desisyon. Pangalawa, yung pagtalakay ito, kasi 4 na articles of impeachment ito no? Hindi iisang article of impeachment ito, 4 na articles of impeachment, no? Bawat isa nito tatalakayin at nakita natin doon pa lamang sa pre-trial, bagamat ang mga detalye ay hindi natin alam, nagkairingan na yata yung private prosecutors ng House, si Attorney Lorna Kapunan at yung isa sa mga abogado ni Vice President Sara Duterte, no? So matagal ito, no? Hindi maaring irigalo ito sa July, At pangalawa, noong hindi pa nangyayari itong gulo sa Senado at hindi pa pumuputok ng todo-todo itong mga pananakip butas sa Blue Ribbon Committee hearing. Nag-umpisa na yung iskandalo, pero yung pag-hearing sa Blue Ribbon Committee hindi pa nagiging malaking problema. Ang aking pananaw nun ay maaring umabot pa sa 16, no, ang hindi magko-conflict. abstention kasi, pag hindi ka bumoto, nag-abstain ka, that is counted in favor of the impeached, yung tinatry na impeachable officer. No? Kasi kailangan 16 to convict. No? Or 2/3 of the Senate. Ngayon, medyo gumugulo ng yung usapan kasi may dalawa na baka hindi maka-attend, no? Yung isa sinuspend for 90 days. So, ibig sabihin hanggang September suspended si Senator Jinggoy. At yung isa naman ay nagtatago at malamang sa hindi ay hindi naman sisipot sa July 6, no? Which means 22 na lang sila na attend ng trial. But still, 66% of or 2/3 of 22 is 14.52 members. At pag ni-round off mo yan, batay sa simple arithmetic, ibig sabihin 15 ang kailangan na bumoto to convict. Sa tingin ko, hanggang sa dulo, napakahirap na makuha yung 15 to convict. No?
Opo, dinagdagan mo pa kasi, Sir Lito, ng mga issue ngayon.
Alright, yun po, narinig natin si Lito, Sir Lito po, no? Commenting on the impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte, no? Inday Sara Duterte. So yun po ang mga latest updates natin sa sabihin natin sa Pilipinas, sa Pilipinas po. And for your information, meron tayo dito, sandali ha. Meron tayo dito, let me read you. Meron nata tayo dito. Ito po, sandali. Hold on po. Sabi ni Hilario Davide Jr. po, no? Na he is a former Chief Justice, former Chief Justice. And sabi niya po sa statement niya recently that the Senate needs 16 to convict and 7 to acquit. 7 to acquit po. Yun po, that's how he interprets ang law or constitution natin dyan po sa Pilipinas. So we don't know what will happen. Kasi narinig natin, may mga proposal that they're going to amend lahat na mga senators who will be physically present during the trial, sila lang po dapat mag-vote. Kung 22 lang po, so 2/3 of the 22, no? Will be allowed to vote. Ano ba yan po? Is it constitutionally legal or not? We don't know po, no? So, let's see what will happen and let's see from kung sakali it will push dyan po sa Supreme Court po. Let's watch and await ang desisyon ng Supreme Court natin po, no? Kung ano talaga ang threshold ng conviction of Inday Sara Duterte po, no? So far, ngayon, we look at it at 16, kung 24 senators, no? And to convict Inday Sara Duterte, they must have a total of 16 senators. But to acquit Inday Sara Duterte, kailangan ng po 9 lang po, based on the 24 elected senators natin ngayon. Ngayon po. But let's see what will happen during these coming weeks, months, and let's see what will happen po. So, yon ang mga latest updates natin. And this time around po, I want to share with you another news article coming from Philstar. Philstar ba yun po? I think, kailangan din. I think, it's, I think kailangan din to read you this article po, no? Ang article, sana po. Importante din ito for the information of the general public. Coming from Philstar, let me read you this news article po. No work. Hold on po. Okay, sandali po. Alright. Philstar. Sana yun, Philstar. Alright. A no work, no pay rule for high-ranking government officials who are absent without clear reason or proper leave would soon be formally proposed as Senator Bato de la Rosa continues his absence from the Senate. Senator Erwin Tulfo, Senator Erwin Tulfo said the proposed measure would cover the President, Vice President, Senators, Congressmen, other elected officials, Cabinet secretaries, and department heads. It's embarrassing, according to Tulfo, it's embarrassing that our staff or ordinary government employees don't get paid when they are absent without prior notice. But we officials still get paid even if we are absent for weeks or months, Tulfo said. The senator said his proposal would also strip allowances from officials who are absent without proper leave. According to him, it has become a habit and no one calls it out even if someone is absent but still receiving salary because they are high-ranking officials. Who would dare call us out, right? Tulfo said. He added, it should be equal. Whether you are an ordinary employee or a high-ranking official, it should be no work, no pay for everyone. The bill has not yet been assigned a number and is yet to be filed. Yon po ang proposal ni Erwin Tulfo. Erwin Tulfo, ang mga tao dito po sa Malaysia, ang mga Filipinos po, would like to remind you na ituloy mo po yon flood control project investigation, no? And kung pwede inhibit from the investigation because your name is also implicated sa anomaly, no? Your name was mentioned by the 18 brave ex-Marine soldiers plus 4. So, I think not only ang mga Filipinos dito sa Malaysia, but I think many more Filipinos would like to see kung mag-inhibit na lang si Senator Erwin Tulfo dyan po sa investigation because his name was also implicated sa accusation made by the 18 ex-Marine soldiers po plus 4. No? Plus 4. So I think that will be very fair call coming from the Filipinos. So, yun po. That's the latest updates mayroon tayo. And before I'm going to conclude this program natin ngayon, I would like to also inform ang mga kababayan, kaibigan at kapatid ko po dyan po sa Pilipinas, particularly sa Mindanao, no? And those who are having, sabihin natin, relatives working dito sa Sabah, no? Especially those who are detained for illegal, for violating the immigration laws dito sa Malaysia, dito sa Sabah po, na narinig natin na ang Allison Shipping Lines, very soon will continue its operation. Anong ibig sabihin niyan po? Will continue the operation. It means that there will be a vessel again coming from Zamboanga City to Sandakan to fetch o kuha po ang mga deportees, Filipino deportees dito po sa Sabah. Sa ngayon po, we are facing problems dito po sa temporary detention centers ng Immigration Department dito sa Sabah po dahil overcrowded na po ang mga Filipinos. Why it is overcrowded? Because wala tayong transportasyon po, no? Unlike before, mayroon tayo ang Allison who gets the deportees, although it's not regular, but at least for the past few months po, no? Prior to the sea tragedy ng Allison Shipping Line or vessel dyan po sa Basilan, area po na they come in every 2 weeks na po, no, to get the deportees. But because of the sea tragedy, the authorities, ang gobyerno natin po suspended the operation of Alison and until further notice. Until further notice. So sana lang po, madali na ito, no? Madali na ito. They fast track na itong operation ng Alison or any other vessels coming from the Philippines to come and get ang mga deportees dito sa Sabah, no? Kawawa naman ang mga Filipinos po, tao din yan sila, no? Although they have reasons why they come in illegally or they became undocumented Filipinos dito sa Sabah, but remember, they are still human beings, they are still Filipinos po, they are still Filipinos. So, wala naman problema sa government side ng Malaysia o ng Sabah because they properly treated naman ang mga Filipino detainees dito sa Sabah po in terms of food, in terms of in case of sickness or medical assistance, mayroon din sila po. And even ang pamasahe ng mga deportees po, no? When they will be deported, it is the Sabah government who is paying ang ferry fees ng mga deportees. Ang problema lang po, although ang Sabah government is more than eager to deport these people, but hindi pwede po dahil wala tayong transportasyon. Walang ferry plying the route between Zamboanga City and Sandakan. So yun po ang latest updates natin dito sa sa NikTok, The Real Talk with Nico. I will continue to monitor ang situation dyan po sa Pilipinas and kung may mga updates tayo, I'll make sure that kayo, mga followers ko po dito sa NikTok, The Real Talk with Nico, you will be properly informed. I won't be able siguro to give you ang breaking news, but definitely whatever news I'm going to share with you po, supported by a video clip, it will still be a fresh news para sa ating lahat. At least, mayroon na tayong venue, mayroon na tayong vehicle to mga Filipinos dito sa Malaysia, including mga overseas Filipino workers sa ibang parte ng mundo, as well as sa mga Filipinos. Dyan po sa bayan natin po, may vehicle na tayo po dito sa NikTok, The Real Talk with Nico to get this vital or importante updates tungkol what is happening sa Pilipinas. So with this, once again, si Nico Fabian would like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day. And again, I would like to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers who are celebrating Father's Day today. Hit up Malaysia, Sababole, mabuhay ang Pilipinas, peace on earth. I'll see you in my next episode. Bye! You take care and I love you. Ingat!